Yesterday, I made a video talking about how Joe Milton was an insane backup quarterback for Tennessee, and you guys obviously loved that video, and you guys left a couple of comments that made me decide, let's talk about some more backup quarterbacks. In today's video, we're going to talk about some more backup quarterbacks who could be stars in the future, who have already shown bright flash this year, and we're going to go through who they are, what school they're a part of, and how good I think they will be in the future. But before we get started, we're so close to 100k, so quickly be sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a like if you want to support today's video, turn on post notifications so you never miss when I upload, and let me know what player, team, topic, or situation I could do next. Now, let's talk about the 6 best backup quarterbacks in college football. The first guy I want to talk about is from the Big 12, and his name is Baron Morton. Coming out of Eastland High School, Morton was 6'2" and was from the state of Texas and had an insanely productive career there. He was one of 11 quarterbacks nominated for the 2021 National High School Quarterback of the Year and was one of the most insane players in the state of Texas. As a senior, he threw for 3,613 yards with 37 touchdowns and only 6 picks. It gets even better though, as he had nearly 1,000 yards on the ground and 19 scores there as well. In his entire career, he threw for more than 8,800 yards with 84 touchdowns and only 15 picks, and was considered an extremely accurate passer, had a great arm, and had that it factor. When it came time to pick a school, plenty of schools wanted him, but ultimately, he decided to go to Texas Tech. He picked the Red Raiders over Baylor, TCU, Texas A&M, Washington State, and USC, and maybe the fact that his sisters went to Texas Tech also helped out with that. Morton was a 4-star recruit, the number 19 quarterback, and the 149th best player in the class of 2021, and would arrive at Texas Tech with a lot of hype. Last year, he passed one time for 3 yards and sat behind both Tyler Shuck and Donovan Smith. This year, Morton has shown a lot of flash and garbage time. Against Baylor, he came in and had 2 touchdowns, had over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns in a win over West Virginia, and then had 3 total touchdowns and a loss to Oklahoma State. He played a lot of snaps in all 3 of those games, and so far in the year has over 1,100 yards passing with 7 touchdowns, with 9 combined touchdowns and 6 picks. While he does need to get those interception numbers down, Morton looks like the guy for the future and could be one of the best quarterbacks we've seen at Texas Tech in a long while. He's an insane backup. The next guy we need to talk about is Kansas State backup quarterback Will Howard. The last few years, the Kansas State Wildcats had both Skylar Thompson and Adrian Martinez, and while Martinez had a spectacular season, when Will Howard has played, he's looked really impressive. Going back in time though, he was pretty underrated. As a senior at Downington West High School, Howard came out of the state of Pennsylvania and threw for 2,543 yards with 27 touchdowns as a senior and led his team to a 13-2 record. He was just the kind of guy that the Kansas State staff wanted to get their hands on, and he committed to the Wildcats. He was a 3-star recruit, the number 33 pro-style quarterback, and the 888th best player in the class of 2020. Howard would come in 2020 and actually got a couple opportunities to play. He threw for 1,178 yards with 8 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. He needed to get that turnover number down, but in 2021, Thompson was back, so he became the backup and threw for a touchdown and a pick. So far this year, Howard has been insane when his number was called. Adrian Martinez went down with an injury, and he's been insane. Against Baylor, he threw for 196 yards and 3 touchdowns, and then had another insane game against Oklahoma State. It would blow out the number 9 Oklahoma State Cowboys, and he threw for nearly 300 yards with 4 touchdowns without a pick. A couple weeks ago against TCU, he ended up combining for 3 total touchdowns in a near upset. With Martinez out again, he's going to start against West Virginia this weekend, but Will Howard is going to be a guy to watch for next year. The next guy I want to talk about is Joe Milton. I made a video about him, so be sure to check that one out as well, but Joe Milton came out of the Orlando area and was praised for having the best arm in his class. He could throw a ball apparently 80 to 85 miles per hour, and despite not having great stats, he was wanted by a majority of programs around the country. He became Jim Harbaugh's perfect quarterback recruit, and at 6'6", decided to commit to the Wolverine. According to 24/7 Sports, Milton was a 4-star recruit, the number 9 pro-style quarterback, and the 204th best player in the class of 2018. Milton would arrive on campus and would not really do much his first 2 years. He'd learn the playbook and get better. He had 1 touchdown and 2 picks. Going into 2020, he would battle it out with Cade McNamara and Dylan McCaffrey, but McCaffrey would end up transferring and Milton got the starting job. After a great debut against Minnesota, Milton struggled the remainder of the year and was eventually benched against Rutgers. He threw for 1,000 yards with 4 touchdowns and 4 picks. Milton's career was extremely disappointing at this point, so he decided to transfer down to the SEC and go to Coach Heupel. He battled out with Hendon Hooker going into the 2021 season, and he would start the first 2 games, but then would get hurt against Pittsburgh, and Hooker took over for the remainder of the year. Milton famously ran out of bounds against Ole Miss and finished the season with 375 yards with 2 touchdowns. Instead of transferring, he decided to stick it out, where he has become the backup to Hooker this year and has thrown for 465 yards with 5 touchdowns without a pick. He is one of, if not the best arms in college football. He looks a lot better, has learned from his tough moments, and has shown flash in garbage time, so Milton's a guy to watch out for next year, as he will be in Heupel's system and more than likely be that guy, and he is just going to be insane. The next guy we're going to talk about is Miami quarterback Jakari Brown. Going into year 1 under Mario Cristobal, he brought in offensive coordinator Josh Gaddis from Michigan, and it looked like Van Dyke was going to be one of the best quarterback prospects in the country. Unfortunately, he was extremely disappointing, and backup quarterback Jake Garcia has not done much better. Miami's gotten to a point in their year where they were so desperate that they decided to start their true freshman 4-star Jakari Brown. Jakari Brown was a 4-star player in the class of 2022, was the number 17 quarterback and the 263rd best player in the nation. He went to Lowndes High School in Valdosta, Georgia, I hope I said that right, and had a decorated career there. He would break it as a junior, throwing for 1,500 yards with 14 touchdowns, also rushing for over 1,100 yards and 16 touchdowns. He built upon that with another big senior season, going for over 1,500 passing yards, over 1,100 rushing yards, and 30 combined touchdowns. He led his team to a 10-3 record, and eventually decided to stay home and go to Miami over offers from Auburn, Florida, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and West Virginia. Jakari would arrive as the 3rd-string quarterback this year. He got a chance to play in garbage time against Florida State, Virginia Duke, Virginia Tech, and Bethune-Cookman, but ultimately did not get his first career start until this past weekend against Georgia Tech. In this game, he went on the road and led them to a 35-14 victory as he went 14 of 19 for 136 yards with 3 touchdowns through the air. It gets even better as he also had 87 yards on the ground. Brown won his first career game, can both run and pass the ball, and proved he could succeed in Miami's offense. We'll have to see if he was only good because he played Georgia Tech or if he's actually the future. For now though, he's a great backup. The final guy we're going to talk about today is Drew Allar. Penn State has run Sean Clifford out seemingly for the last 5 years, and it just hasn't worked. He's been alright, but Allar is the kind of guy that can bring them to the next level. Coming out of Medina High School in Ohio, at 6'5", Allar was a 5-star recruit, the number 4 quarterback, and the 32nd best player in the class of 2022. He was absolutely insane in high school, as he won the state of Ohio's Gatorade Player of the Year. As in his senior year, he threw for 4,444 yards with 48 passing touchdowns. He broke a ton of school, state, and county records, and was actually ranked as the number 3 overall prospect by 24/7 Sports. It was only going to be a matter of time before he took the field at Penn State, and he saw action against Purdue. The following weekend, he'd score his first 2 touchdowns against Ohio, and ever since then, he's pretty much played in garbage duty. He had 2 touchdowns against Indiana, and on the year has over 300 yards passing, with 4 touchdowns without an interception. It's really disappointing because he obviously has so much potential, but maybe he's not quite there yet. But it seems the Penn State fan base really wants him to play, and he has unlimited potential, and he could be a breakout superstar in the next year or 2. So yeah, in today's video, we talked about 5 crazy backup quarterbacks in college football, and be sure to give me your thoughts on them down below. Let me know another player I can take a look at in my next video. And before you go, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and check out all my other videos on the end screen, including my long feature on Joe Milton. Hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.